Well, let's go back to, you kind of brushed over it, but I wanted to actually flesh it out. So, and it's a good distinction you made, that all this that, that we're talking about is more on the domestic level of home meat production. So, which precludes, it kind of precludes if you wanted to retail this stuff. You might be able to do this, but we've never found anyone in America that can, well, maybe one. But the hoops you got to jump through, and the full-time employees that you have to hire to help you. You can't just make sausage, make salami if you want to sell it. You have to then, you have to hire a full-time HACCP writer, basically, if you want to accommodate the policies that are in place for a good reason, because we have an entire food system that necessitates it.
It's the lowest common denominator.
Yeah. So can you talk a little about policy and your experience, I guess, with it?
Yeah, it's pretty limited because I've never sold a salami before, ever.
And
so I've never had to jump through the hoops. But as I understand it, basically you have to, anyone in the food industry is familiar with these things, you have to write a hazard analysis of critical control points, which is otherwise known as a HACCP. And that, as I understand it, is an extensive document describing why your salami, in this case, reaches is safe at several points during its processing. So a lot of that would be pH monitoring. You have to show the inspector, the USDA, in fact, how your salami recipe at every stage is not in the danger zone of temperature during the critical points, again, during the critical times when that would be a problem.
Room temperature spots.
And that it reaches a 5.3 pH or less, or lower during certain critical control points in the recipe.
Yeah.
So all of those things, none of it actually prescribes the use of nitrite or starter cultures. You just have to show that you reach the acidity at the right time.
Yeah.
And I think the acidity would be the key component there, and maybe even water activity.
Okay.
And when you get into that, again, because I'm not sure, but a lot of that requires some expensive apparatus. So, you have the little pH strips that you can mash up a little bit of the ground meat in a mortar and pestle with some distilled water, and you dip the strips in there to see where the pH is at. And I don't know if the USDA might accept that. I think that those are relatively rough measures of pH. And again, they would really only work when you're doing the method of the primary fermentation occurring bulk, uncased. So in a tub, in a fridge. That's where the fermentation is occurring. And so you test that, because that meat is accessible to your pH strip and your mortar and pestle and your distilled water. And then the other one would be, what am I saying? The other instrument. If you wanted to upgrade from the pH strip, we're talking about probes that test pH that you could stick into a salami or stick into the meat mass. And those are very complex tools, to be precise. And pretty expensive, but like all technology, and I haven't looked in a while, and it could be that just in the last few months, there could be so many that are less expensive now that would work just beautifully for that. One place I would look that just comes to mind where I have seen a lot of these apparatuses is the butcher's pantry, and I think we've referred to them before.
Yeah, we have.
And they're a great resource, and they have a lot of really cool pH probes. Some are, like way over $1,000, and some in a couple $100 range. Some that are Bluetooth and linked to your iPhone, and you have constant tracking of the pH.
Wow.
So it's pretty cool to the apparatus that you can get.
And not to mention the labor involved in doing that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if a business owner is going to go that route. He or she, they're not going to be the ones able to do that. It almost sounds like they'd have to hire someone
to write the HACCP. Yeah. And that's not even the only document, because then once you write the HACCP, I think is then approved, and then you have to follow that. That is your recipe, basically, and you can never deviate from it. And you have to ensure that every batch, by way of a checklist, goes through each of the critical control points.
Yeah, wow. So it's not just a one-time thing. It's like you got to just
you have to follow it. And then you keep a log, and they check the log, when they inspect you. And understandable.
And this sounds exhausting to us. But if this is someone else's business, and they can schedule it in, and it just hasn't been a route that we've wanted to pursue, but it might be doable if someone had a partner and they could divvy up all of the obligations and duties, and that'd be great. It'd be great to go for it and let us know how it goes.
There's also another document that is the variance.
Oh, right. Okay.
And I think that is more, and again, I don't know, I haven't actually seen these documents, but this is just, being in the world and talking to people, but that is actually getting an exception to the way things have been produced for so long. Okay. Because there are HACCPs out there that you can just adopt, right? If you're going to make salami. They need HACCPs for every hazard food. So anything that can go bad, dairy has lots of HACCPs. And it's much easier just to adopt a pre-existing recipe, essentially, a pre-existing HACCP, and meet those critical control points that have already been established, rather than blaze your own trail with a variance and try to write a new HACCP for a new salami that reaches those points without nitrate and starter cultures. And it's not hopeless. I used to think it was, but it's not. It's just hard work, which means it's totally doable. Someone I feel like it would, like you said, it would result in it would work in a partnership where someone can focus on the making of salami and the formation of the recipe, and someone else can work directly with the USDA and be a mediator, and help and I know some people that do that, and that are looking to do that more on a consulting level, that have that incredibly thankless task, but incredibly valuable skill of wading through USDA regulations and being the contact to help draft those things. So all of that to say, it's not like it's prohibited to sell nitrate and starter culture free salamis at all. It is not. You just have to do some work to prove to them its safety. And I people should do that. Salami VLS, I think, is one place that has done that in New York. So it can be done. People should do it. Get some real salami out there that is an expression of place. And the shop.